All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Made in Abyss, Season 2, Episode 8.
All right.
Oh boy, that
Wazukyan.
last episode. Yeah, Wazukyan. You know what?
She saved everybody. That child was our salvation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Veco! Wazukyan's making stew for dinner. Fuck yeah!
Oh my god, that's so fucked up. Yeah, that fits. That fits. Yeah. You also made the other joke. What was it? I'll set you up. This child will be our salvation. More like.
Oh yeah, he will be our salvation. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been waiting to start watching a cooking anime for a long time on this channel.
Ah, yes.
And it's about time we finally did that.
That's right. If it couldn't be Sweetness and Lightning, then,
there's no in between.
Yeah.
You're either Sweetness and Lightning or you're Made in Abyss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how it is.
At least there was no foodgasm, like Food Wars situation when they ate the stew. That would have been...
There's more season 2 still, Jacob.
Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Don't manifest that shit.
No. Surely there are some lines that the show won't cross.
Yeah, and don't call me Shirley. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Whoa.
Okay. But you haven't told me what the thing is yet. I was really hoping you'd do that first.
There it is! I had a feeling! Let's kill them all!
Uh-huh.
I mean, after all that...
Uh-huh, yeah. No,
after all that...
She's looking to kill a bitch. Or a few dozen.
Or them all.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, boy. Oh, God. He now knows what he's done. Yeah. Okay.
Belloff は大丈夫。あの子日に日に大きくなってるんだ。生まれてくる子もこう一抱えはあるよ。イルミュイ。お母さんが来たよ。
Fuck.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
The form the wish takes.
No, while they're still alive, what the fuck?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They have to be alive in order...
Or it makes it easier or faster.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'll bet you don't.
Oh. I have no words, y'all. This is...
And they have to keep doing this, yeah, because...
Wow. That's how we rationalize things, yeah. And Belloff's gift is understanding. Like, he's...
Yeah.
Oh, God. He's gone, like thin. Maybe he's, unable to, retch it. Like he's, retching it out or something. Like, he's not actually eating and retaining the nutrients or something. Oh my God. Wait, Jacob.
What?
How did the village get formed?
Oh, fuck.
this is the village. It's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Uh-huh.
So it's continually Oh.
君が倒れた時にね、こうするようにイルミューイも弱っていった。
Whoa.
複数あるものなんだよね、これ。鑑賞記ちゃんたちも初めて見る風じゃなかったし。
No, now it's just the wishes of others perpetuating this.
I mean,
this thing as its, you know.
I don't know,
its
'cause
core.
she might have wished for Veco at least to be okay.
Yeah.
いよいよだね。彼女の本当の願いを。
Yeah, she's gonna be the village. Remember? Village, mother, cradle.
Okay. Oh,
Shit.
fuck.
Well, crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
いや、君が必要だ。最後まで苦しみになれることのなかった。気高い君がね。
He's the one that's gonna, like, make the next wish, maybe?
Holy crap. Wow. This is so cool and so crazy. No, that's all your curse. You're all gonna live much, much longer.
Mm-hmm. If she consumes them, is that how they become hollows? That's the ingredient needed to make the children be able to live?
Yeah, and this is like the protection from the abyss, and going in will slowly transform them. Wow.
Okay.
Oh, that.
All right, there we go.
Wow. Oh, it wasn't even slow. It was instant.
Yay.
Wow. So, Wazukyan, with his foresight, how much of this did he see?
That's a good question.
Because he might have manipulated this a little bit if he could see like part of it.
Yeah. She just leaves. Oh.
No.
But surely that's better than this. And I can't have you dying, because, yep. Because if you go away, then so does she.
Huh. Whoa.
Shit.
Dang. Very deep.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to feel that ever again. Because you'll always be with her.
Yeah.
Shit.
Holy shit.
Okay. And there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh, crazy.
Oh, that's where Faputa came from.
Here's Faputa, yeah.
to have a child.
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah, so, yep, their salvation and their
Damnation.
Their damnation, yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. And so she's named all of them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we need a family reunion. That's the way that we bring about like a happy ending here. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow. Something beautiful has been born out of it. A family, a home.
Yep.
But if she attacked from the outside with Reg, with his destructor incinerator cannon,
right, he blows a hole in.
He could actually destroy it. yeah. Veco.
Yeah.
Oh. Right, they're connected. Yeah. Yeah. Because you've kind of been the surrogate mother all this time, you know? Oh, to hold on? Oh! Wow! Fucking Maiden Abyss, y'all!
Fuck, man!
Peak. Absolute, total peak.
Okay.
Yui.
Yeah.
Name of the village.
Wait,
shit. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It all just clicks together this episode. Mm-hmm. I really love when you have dual kind of perspective storylines out of like different timelines and stuff. When you have those moments where you establish almost all the pieces to connect it together, but when you push that final puzzle piece and you go, that moment is just so satisfying if you nail the execution right. And this episode just perfectly.
This episode
did
was beautiful.
Uh-huh.
That's something that can be said about most every episode of Made in Abyss, but it was a delight in as much as in the same breath that it was horrifying.
Yeah. And I loved the response that they focused on with all the characters here. So you have Belloff, who we can quickly kind of go over here. The first one to become transformed.
Yep.
The first one to, in some ways, reject what they had done. And because of probably the nature of not just who Belloff is, but kind of what he is in terms of his ability to understand things on a deeper level. He's like, I can't live with myself this way.
Nope.
So in some ways, he ended up being kind of the guinea pig to test out what Yui would create for them.
Sure.
And then it was really funny to see Wazukyan be like, thank you, Belloff. Almost like, good job. Now we know that we can do this.
And everyone else will go too, and it's not just going to be something where she devours us for good, And,
right.
Okay.
And now we know that it's not necessarily some, evolution over thousands of years or something.
Nope.
No, it's just they go through and they basically take on an extension of that wish to belong, and now they're safe in there for now. But wow.
Okay.
Veco, just as a perspective kind of main character for this whole timeline. Is just a wonderful character.
Couldn't have wished for more.
Yeah. So good.
It also, I feel like, very firmly establishes the context for the present time situation and what the conflict is, right?
Yeah.
You've got Faputa, who of course wants to destroy it all. Cool.
Yeah.
She can't get into the village on her own, but maybe if Reg blows a hole through, part of Irumyuui with his cannon, maybe then she can get in that way.
Yeah, the main issue, I think, is that the interference units that Faputa had been using were not equipped with one of those cannons, but could battering ram the outside and do what they could. But again, it's not necessarily going to be a solution that works in the long term. And, then it would be possible for them to maybe fight back a little bit against Faputa.
Right.
But we did see that when Faputa was born and set free outside the village, which
She went on a rampage.
she went on a rampage and absolutely destroyed everyone around her.
Yeah, we got to see
Interference
the
units or not.
Yeah, we got to see the numbers of how many were left afterwards, and there weren't a lot. So, yeah.
So now the main thing that we know is that over the course of time, they've all stayed in here and also maybe been hiding a little bit in here to avoid just Faputa, who kind of rules this layer, if you will, because no, we don't fuck with her.
Yeah.
Because Faputa not only knows what we did exactly, but Faputa is an extension of Irumyuui by the nature that she was born out of the same, not necessarily the same wish ball, but the same mechanism.
Yeah.
And yet it was different and maybe even more of a crystallization of that wish because it was the final child. It was you're the last child. I'm going to use up this entire thing just to make you. And thus, that's why Faputa is perfect. Valuable beyond measure, but also the potential, end of this whole thing.
Valuable beyond measure. If the rules of value come from Irumyuui and the fact that they're within Irumyui's carcass, basically,
right,
then of course Faputa would be the thing of most value.
Yeah,
right?
The thing is that Irumyuui is technically alive.
She is alive.
She would be alive, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just without... Well...
Right?
I thought they mentioned that she had died. Or at the very least, no. I think they mentioned that she had... there was no thought left.
Yeah.
Right, so it's...
Yeah,
whatever...
Effectively, for the purpose of the story, she's still there providing protection and stuff.
Right. Yeah, she's
the
still...
The force field thing is still active.
Right, she's mechanically still around and providing protection, but the person of Irumyuui is gone.
Right. And if you think about it, the idea of being a cradle is the connection to the cradle of desire, those things, but then also being the last little vestige of a bearing place for children, given that Irumyuui is no longer bearing children.
No.
That's done. That's over. Faputa was the last one.
Right.
Wow.
But okay, so now we all also understand Voiko's position and situation with all of this.
Yeah.
I love how this recontextualizes why she was in the pit,
Yeah.
why she stayed there when Rico came down, and Voiko is like, I can't remember the exact details of what she said, and Rico immediately takes off the shackles, right?
Yeah.
That wouldn't necessarily be something that Voiko would 100% be happy about.
Right.
Right.
Now we know why.
Right? There's a lot of conflicted feelings happening
She's the
here.
substitute mother because, in a lot of ways, she feels like she
Right.
robbed, Irumyuui of her opportunity to be a mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was her idea to bring her with them.
Yep.
All of this
All
stuff.
kinds of guilt and stuff is laid
Right.
on top of her. So the fact that she's still able to just kind of have that hey, that happened. Yeah, I can't change anything what happened, but I'm still able to continue on, probably because she found herself that little bit of value and purpose and joy in being the mother
children.
and caring for them, their little souls as they were just there, maintaining probably a little bit of the mechanisms by which this whole, village was, and the whole value side of things is there.
And now we have both a mechanical conflict that can be, brought to a head in the Faputa wanting to destroy the village and all of that stuff.
And
but then also character,
Yeah.
like final conflicts
Right.
and stuff for the season of how does Veco deal with this? How does all the characters that are still around and still are cognizant
The
of their
three sages,
surroundings.
yeah.
The three sages basically.
Yeah.
And then of course Faputa.
And then, of
herself.
course, all of this happening while Nanachi is, just
Right.
there. So,
Also want to point out, Belloff was the one that could not handle consuming the flesh of the children of Irumyui and wished to die because of it.
Yeah.
Now he gave up everything, and hey, he's drinking from a straw, Mitty, forever.
Yep.
That's a change.
That's a whole thing right there.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then in the midst of all this, you have Rico and Reg and everybody.
Yep. Every one of the three sages kind of desired something after the mix up of this whole thing. But Wazukyan specifically fused himself with one of the cradles of desire, and it's just sitting there in his neck, keeping his little bit of his old body just there in stasis, probably because he can't use it as effectively by being, an adult. And thus, in some ways, I think we now have a pretty clear connection as to what Wazukyan really wants.
Oh.
He's needing the ability to use one of these devices. Like he can't use it. Like either that or he can only use a part of it. But we have a very clear transmutation kind of mechanical stuff with regards to the entering of the village, right? And when he went in there, I don't think he necessarily got like exactly what he wanted out of that, because he still can't necessarily use it that well.
Sure.
But if he found a way to basically figure out how to become a child,
Well, or put another way, yes, it could be something where Wazukyan is trying to figure out how to use it. I get the feeling Wazukyan kind of already has what he wants.
yeah, I think he's still
Yeah, we
still has
kind of
more
see things differently on
yeah.
that one. Because, from my perspective, he wanted the village. He wanted it to be something that people could have and all of that stuff. And so now he has it, right? And it's self-sustaining. It's not just the people that were originally part of the expedition. Tons of other people that, are then explorers in the abyss and things like that, then come here and it's a place of respite. And, hey, they join the ranks. And
Yeah, he wants to be in alignment with the abyss in a lot of ways. Like, that feels like his general goal. But I think his specific goal is that he's realized, because of Irumyui, what these little devices can do. And that's why he immediately was like, oh, yeah, I'm already, having some of the interference units go and grab some. He didn't say necessarily whether they
how
ever
many
stopped or how many he got or
Sure.
something. And it's the kind of thing of where if he just casually puts one into himself, in addition to giving another one to Irumyui, I wouldn't be surprised if he's kept a storage of them,
Maybe.
a little vault of them.
that could totally be a thing. Although, given what we saw of Faputa and her introduction with an interference unit, I think it's safe to say that the interference units are no longer working with him. With
Wazukyan. The interference units are not in the village. They were probably the main ones that were sent to deal with the Faputa birthing situation, because we did see at least one of them get shattered then. But we don't see a lot of them anymore in general. We only see the one with
that's
Faputa.
true. That's true.
So they might have all just been ordered to do what they can, and eventually Faputa's been whittling away their defenses to where they...
Well, what I was thinking of is that if he had the interference units get more of this stuff, you wouldn't necessarily have had to tell them what it was for or anything like that.
Sure. They seem to immediately follow their orders and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
If Faputa goes on a rampage and all of that stuff and is out there, I would not be surprised if it was something where she would end up being able to get the rest of them on her side, maybe. If the one is any indication, it could just be a one-time exception, for the one that's acting as her sort of guardian mount.
Yeah,
whatever.
what would happen if one was under the orders of people from the village, and then Faputa came along and was like, I have new orders for you.
Right.
Well, how would it resolve those
Exactly.
things?
Or I have information that, now granted Faputa wouldn't know any of this stuff, but like, you know, if they're being told to do all of these things, we don't know what the level of will is basically for these interference units. So
it's not a really big deal in the story at this point.
Yeah. But
Man.
what I see being is more likely potentially is that it's not necessarily about does Wazukyan have a wish that he's still trying to get, but that as far as, since I see him as being wanting to maintain what they have here, right? He wouldn't want anything to rock the boat. I could see him being the reactive antagonist, where then if they start to disrupt things, then it's I'm going to try and keep you guys from being able to do that.
Yeah.
And given that we have some children that have come into the village, if any more wishes were to be made, I would guess that would be how they would happen.
Right. Yeah. I think he's more of the person who needs children to be nearby so that he can then manipulate them into using the wishes for him.
Sure.
And that's my general point, is that he's the experimenter. He's the person who's willing to try basically anything because he has foresight. If you're an experimenter of some level like that, you know when you're onto something good. And thus he has always this air of confidence and just distilled calmness where he's just like, no, it's okay. She'll be our salvation.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Immediately he thinks to going and, chopping up and stewing the babies, basically, because he knew it would work.
Okay.
Like, I think that we need to think about Wazukyan's foresight in context to anything that he does with that intention.
Okay.
Like, if it's something that accidentally happens around and stuff like that, I don't think he's necessarily like always aware of everything. It's like the person that can see like, a day into the future,
right,
versus,
or an incomplete vision.
Or an incomplete vision, exactly. Very, very limited in that regard.
Right.
But he did have that very unnerving look on his face when
he saved
Veco
Veco,
was saved her.
Yeah. You didn't save my life, you ruined my death.
I very much am a bit disturbed with the thing that almost Made in Abyss in its delivery kind of has us brush over, which is just the idea that Wazukyan placed her exactly in this position.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have no context as to what happened in between that. All that we know is that Veco describes it as a punishment.
Right.
And Veco takes kind of in some ways the punishment in stride because she had been trying to punish herself for her participation in all this.
Right, and so if she's getting a fate worse than death, I mean that's the only better way to punish yourself, right?
Right, but if you think about it, the idea that Wazukyan is excited then about the notion that, wonderful, I've got someone who will be here and they won't leave. They'll do their part.
Right.
Yep. I didn't need to do much of anything other than just
I got
keep
someone
her
else to do
alive.
it. Yeah. Well, and also the whole idea that, especially if Iramui is still alive in a fashion, even if she isn't like cognizant,
She can't
really.
speak. She can't,
exactly.
think really as much. It's a dormancy.
If there's still that connection between her and Veco, then of course Wazukyan would want to make sure that nothing happens to her.
Right. She's maintaining the semblance of normalcy with regards to the village, even if Iramui is basically a carcass and is just, fleshy parts just maintaining its place there.
Right, vegetative state of some kind or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if that's something where she is essentially the she is Iramui's great value, right? Other than I guess Faputa.
And Faputa, because children.
Right, because obviously.
Yeah.
But then if you keep Veco with Iramui, great. You've got a beating heart essentially. For the village.
And that's why Veco is so scared of being noticed outside here, not because it's like a lot of people are going to notice, because in a lot of ways
there'd only be a handful.
There'd only be a handful that would actually be like, wait, Veco, what are you doing out here?
Yep.
And the main one would be Wazukyan.
Yeah.
Because she knows Belloff is not leaving his spot.
Oh no,
Belloff is just suffering in a hole somewhere. Yeah.
And even if even if Belloff did see her, I don't think he would have any issue. Like,
no,
unless he has really fundamentally changed, you know.
I think yeah.
I think he has to some
I think he
extent,
has. I think that was the point of showing that he was in such a tumultuously broken emotional state, is that it basically contextualizes any kind of difference he has afterwards as being, well, of course he changed.
He hit rock bottom.
He hit rock bottom and shattered. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in a lot of ways, the part that maybe is a little interesting in this is this contextualizes a little bit more the whole thing of the fake Mitty. Is the whole thing of that was something that was part of a setup with Bondrud coming over, and the Mitty form and something being so desirable was something that maybe reminded Belloff of what Irumyui was.
Sure, that is definitely possible. But what do you mean by setup?
Oh, it's just a setup in that.
Oh, like it's a meta setup, not like an in-universe setup of characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
It primes us for the Irumyui reveal, basically.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that's really cool about this, though, is that Rico is the beating heart of this show in terms of the emotional core of it. Veco being kind of the other emotional core, and them being together, like in the same place, plot-wise, means that they have all the agency power to decide where the story goes from here.
Right.
Reg is like kind of a reactive protagonist, but his main thing that he will always fall back on is protecting Rico, protecting Nanachi. They're a trio. Right now, Nanachi is in the clutches, essentially, of Belloff, so this trade will need to happen. So Reg will kind of do the, okay, Faputa, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for this. I'm going to go into the village. I'm going to get Nanachi, and then we can discuss.
Right. Well, I'm gonna get the people that I care about out of there, and then maybe as we're leaving, I'll blow a hole in the.
But this is the problem, is that the story's themes are about what and who or where, what the value of each individual is, right? Faputa's value is to Reg, but it's in Reg being, with her,
Okay.
One of the things that Faputa asked was, well, what's your Haku?
Right.
Because it's not me. So which of them is it?
Yeah.
So if Reg brings Nanachi and Rico out of the village, they're in danger.
Because Faputa might go after them and
be like, Reg, now destroy the village, Like, I mean, the idea is that we need to have Rico and Veco together with Reg and Faputa and have a conversation so that we can resolve the
when it comes down to
resolve
it,
the emotional conflict.
The conflict of this season is, like you said, going to be emotional. It's going to be character focused. It's not going to be mechanic focused in any way.
Right. The only mechanic is that value aspect of where everything kind of stacks up. And if Rico's smart enough, she could probably figure out the domino effect that would.
Right. The value aspect and then the specific things that people want. Right. And mainly in this case, the destruction of the village.
Yes.
So that'll be fun to see how that shakes down.
Because they could theoretically side with Faputa after they've had a conversation.
Oh yeah.
There's a world where it makes sense to be like, let's all go down to the next layer together. Let's move forward,
Well, and also the maybe let's take some of the villagers with us too.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
They're just people that came from above and ended up joining the village. Right. They didn't have anything to do with what happened.
You don't need to have the village if we're all together. Like I really see maybe I'm way too hopeful here, but I feel like there's a very happy way this could all go where some people cling to the village or cling to basically this old thing here, and we have a moment where it's the Wazukyan and the old on one side, Faputa and Rico and Reg on the new on the other side. Veco's probably kind of caught in the middle with regards to this whole thing of the whole, children and stuff are here, but also
that's where I feel like the main interpersonal resolution needs to happen is between Veco and Faputa.
Yes, I agree.
Right. As far as the rest of the characters, they're going to
encourage.
We'll get to pick who kicks Wazukyan's ass.
Yes, basically.
But
It's
but
gonna
that's
be
about
Reg
it.
and
Right?
Faputa. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, exactly. And I don't think
like-
it'll be hard, right? Like the whole thing of like Wazukyan, it's been a while since I'd seen you scared, right? Like that very much gives me the vibe that Wazukyan has been the okay, yes, I got the thing that I wanted, but I need to make sure I never set foot outside of this village because otherwise I'm fucked, right? And so it's just I'm just in here, I'm doing my thing, I'm keeping a low profile, living my life, whatever, and that's it, right? Like he doesn't even have a big position within the village. You know?
Okay, so
not an apparent big position within the village.
He is one of the three sages, though. So one of the things I was going to bring up is that if Wazukyan is desperately needing like the village so he can keep things going the way it's been going, he is the order in this position here.
Yeah.
I think he would absolutely weaponize the village and even Belloff potentially to fight off. So it's not about Wazukyan being himself powerful, but it's that he could theoretically have some way to utilize the village or even Belloff as like a defensive.
I feel like if Belloff is going to be used in an antagonistic way to the main characters in Veco and Faputa, given what we've seen, we would have to have a better understanding of Belloff and how he's changed exactly. Yeah. Even though we know that he has changed in some pretty strong ways.
Right, but that's going to happen when we go back for Nanachi. That has to happen. We're going to
there you go.
We're going to get more actual time with him, literally because he's holding one of our main characters.
Right.
Like,
okay.
So it's going to be the kind of thing as to, wait, if you just brought a piece of Faputa, what would he immediately go as like, oh, wow, you got that?
But then would that mean there'd be like a civil war within the village?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of them that are nice, upstanding people and are very much on like Rico's side.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that if you have a village like this and you have the kind of protagonists coming in here and shaking up things dynamic-wise, and this is the kind of show with a very darker theme for all the underground kind of stuff, all the stuff beneath the surface, the thing that would happen is the protagonist would dredge all the dark stuff to the surface, which they are by their activity, then force a conflict, which would be...
I just don't see that many people actually siding with Wazukyan.
I don't either, but it's still the thing of where, at the very least, enough would probably not want the village to be destroyed. This is their home.
No, right, but
because that's what he could say, like, oh,
that's why I see Wazukyan as not actually having much part in the conflict anymore. He will be important for the conflict in that he is the one who started all of this, and so that will need to be addressed.
Right.
But as far as the present conflict of the things actually happening, I feel like it'll be more about, can we talk down Faputa? Can we make there be that resolution rather than are there going to be people opposing it?
Right. But I think that regardless of talking down Faputa, the difference between talking down Faputa from killing every single person in the village and the village
to just
is different
killing Wazukyan.
To just killing Wazukyan or just letting Irumyui be free. Because imagine if Irumyui is alive technically, and it's the Faputa's like, I can't let her suffer. I hear her screams in my mind. It's the whole thing of, absolutely, we'll do a mercy killing here. It's absolutely a replay of season 1 with we're going to mercy killing Mitty,
And what Veco originally was thinking she was going to do until all of a sudden, hang on, maybe that's not actually what Irumyui wants. Which, theoretically, that could be as a mutation or whatever as a result of, Wazukyan's own wish or something like that. Who knows?
Who knows, yeah.
But... okay.
Yeah, I am very excited to have us as the protagonist armed with this knowledge, then moving forward and being active in the story here, because we still have a ton of episodes left for a Made in Abyss season.
That is very true.
Like we have 5 more episodes after this,
and we have the entire context and foundation of the story. So now it's just execution.
Right, which is exciting when you have so much more story left.
And while that might seem like, it took 8 episodes to get to this point, there were quite a few episodes before we even, really met the village, got to know the people.
We had 2 timelines.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an impressive season.
Right, so this season has already been covering a lot, and yet they still have a lot of real estate to work with how they resolve it. And I gotta say, I like this format of it being, like, it feels... It feels like it has all the best stuff of the movie situation, but instead of being a movie, it's a whole season,
so
right?
you get even more content and depth to it.
Yeah, more content, more depth, more nuance,
characters.
more characters.
Yeah.
More world building, more all of it, right?
More powerful integration of the themes in the story as well.
Yes,
I really liked Wazukyan's moment of where he was like, "Dude, like, do you realize like the abyss like gathered us here? Like this was what it wanted. What would you do if you had people constantly praying to you? Like if you had all this." The way he talked about it kind of reminded me of the I think it was a theory in the movie discussion or something like that. But just the idea of the abyss itself being some kind of entity based on the desires of the people that look for things in the abyss.
Sure.
Meaning that the abyss doesn't literally fulfill the desires of people, but by the nature of so many people coming to it to have their curiosity and imagination sated, it eventually provides that because that's what they're looking for. So here, Wazukyan is like, that's so beautiful. Like, we here in this community are here because that's what we all needed. We were homesick. We were wishing for that, and now we've found it. So Wazukyan is not so... I mean, not even really. Bondrewd was entirely black and white in terms of his aspect there. He was a really fucked up person as well, but he was way more antagonistic than Wazukyan is.
Right.
Whereas Wazukyan is also a fucked up person, but I'd say it's more so that he seems to want to, and I said it earlier in the discussion, he wants to be in alignment with the abyss. Like he wants to be almost someone who is someone who aids the fulfillment of people's desires and stuff like that. So he's kind of positioned himself as much as possible in the village to assist that. The problem is that it seems like he's very self-serving and kind of...
Right, and that's why I don't really see it as much of him wanting to fulfill other people's desires, but he has a desire that he believes is in the best interests of other people. And so in a similar way to Bondrewd, he will then excuse anything on the road to that goal, right?
Right.
You know, with Bondrewd, it's we have to be able to understand the abyss, and so I will do whatever I need to in order to, develop and experiment and all that stuff.
And Wazukyan is not too far away from that.
Wazukyan's not too far away from that, but in his situation, it certainly from the previous episode, it was a bit more understandable, even though it was fucked up, because it's
we have to survive.
We have to survive. We can't just let ourselves die, right? And then it's oh no, he actually just started like butchering the children while they were still alive. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it made things go faster, because there was a freshness aspect to the curative properties, so...
It didn't actually help people as much. And it's like, I mean, hey, that's still... It's fun because that's...
nothing about he has no empathy for Irumyui. Like, none.
Right.
None.
Right. Even if he were to, at some point later in the show, like, profess that he does... No, he doesn't really.
Yeah.
That would be intellectual empathy at best.
Yeah, it would be exactly. It would be the kind of thing where he actively this is my empathy.
Right, exactly.
Was like, I don't need that right now. Right. That is actually not helping me. Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly.
Which, to be fair, when faced with extinction, all that stuff, right? And so, they end up eating each other, and because this show is, has a lot of fucked up stuff in it, and the world has a lot of fucked up stuff in it, hey, it ends up being that you got to eat the children specifically, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than like, we need to like make a list of names. Well, sure, or we make a list of names of everybody that's down here and then draw lots, right? Or something like that, right?
I mean, that has a very finite solution.
Well,
I'll just say.
Yes, definitely.
Eventually, you run out of food.
Actually, that's a good question because the Faputa was the last child. How did they? I guess they figured out some other way.
No, it's because they were transformed.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They were given bodies that no longer needed to do that, basically.
Right.
And in some ways, that's why I think Wazukyan had a little bit of foresight with regards to this, because it's this child will be our salvation is not the children thing.
Right, it's what she will do for us.
Yeah.
And the children thing is just so that we can survive until the point where where the problem goes away.
Right. So it's the combination, because the wish was multifaceted. The desire to be a mother was part of it, right? The desire to have a family was another part of it. So children is an aspect of that.
Oh, okay.
But I think in combination with that...
I thought it was the desire to be with Veco. Because they didn't actually say what a lot of the wishes were, right?
Well, that's the thing. I'm reading into this a little bit, but let me read into it here. So mother, very overt
Yep.
there, right? So that's where the children come from.
Yep.
I think that packed into that is the idea of having a family, right?
Okay.
Because it'd be her family, right? So all these people here, by extension, ended up kind of becoming children of Irumyuui. They're all in the village. They all have taken on the forms that attach to that. But then the other part is something that was maybe even melded a little bit with the second ball put in there. And that is the idea of potentially having a home.
Okay, I was gonna say that it would be more of vengeance, right? Because like Faputa, when
I think
Faputa
that's
was
just to
born,
show
it's the no, Irumyuui never forgave.
Right. But that's yes, I agree with you in that that's because it came from the second one specifically. Like if it had come from the first one, it would have been maybe different.
Sure.
But the idea that all of this happened before Faputa was born doesn't restrict basically the...
No, right. But the second egg was introduced after they were already butchering her children.
Yeah, but it was... Yes, I'm with you. But that is still the thing as to it all still happened before Faputa was born and after the second egg was introduced. The second egg was introduced before the village had been constructed.
Right.
Yeah. So I was just saying that Wazukyan is the one that wanted a home. They got a home.
Oh, sure. Right. Yeah. So
It's a
Wazukyan's
combination.
egg is that.
Well, right, but that's also the one that birthed Faputa.
No, I don't think so, because there were 3 eggs.
Yes, one is in...
One is in
Nag.
Wazukyan, and then 2 are in Irumyuui.
Yes. The first one's the very beginning.
Right.
Birthing all the children, right?
Yep.
Mother, family. That kind of covers that whole 2 things there. You would say that it'd be a bit too much of a stretch to call in that wish a desire for a home, but I would say that it's kind of in there. It's like a tiny bit.
Okay.
But then the second one gets brought in. Faputa's not born yet. Over the course of the time that it's been brought in, after that, in fact, rather quickly after that, Irumyuui moves. Why? To make the home. What was the recent stimulus that changed? The new cradle was added in.
But the cradle was added in like it wasn't right after the cradle was added in.
I can go back in the spot there.
No, because it was mentioned like Veco found the other cradle and is like, wait, there's another one in there, and he's like, yeah, when you fell ill, Irumyuui grew weak too, so we had to give her another one. So that's by the time Veco wakes up and we're starting this episode's section of the backstory, the second egg has already been introduced.
Okay, I was just I didn't think about that. You're right, but it is an immediate thing in the editing of the episode. See, Irumyuui, what's the matter? She's sympathizing with you. The time has come. Let's go see her true wish.
Okay.
And then immediately, with our own eyes, and then immediately Irumyuui leaves and creates the village.
Okay.
They decided to have, right before this scene, the actual showing of the second cradle there. And it might be just that it's Veco wanted basically a home with Irumyuui.
Right, so
she
Irumyuui is granting Veco's wish, basically.
Exactly.
All right, I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
Since you're the one, right, and that could be the way that it doesn't end up contradicting with the whole Faputa, revenge, Irumyuui not forgiving, is that she still did care about Veco, though. So it's I'll give you your wish, but everyone else, nah, fuck them.
Well, okay.
And yet,
she literally gives Belloff the body of non-human here when transforms through this here. So I think it's more the thing is we need to abandon a little bit of the idea that Irumyuui has actually that much will.
Oh, right.
But it's the idea that she has memory. The final child was basically born out of that that final bit there, and that thing just carries in some ways the reincarnation of Irumyuui.
Faputa is the reincarnation of Irumyui's actual will.
Right.
The Irumyuui that existed for at least a decent chunk of this episode had no actual will, id,
Yeah.
identity, whatever, because
Yeah.
that had all died or gone away or become dormant
Or broken
been
over the course of the
or broken
suffering,
or
yeah.
been passed on to what would eventually become Faputa.
Yeah.
And that's why they're able to use the remains or,
Yes.
vegetative body of Irumyui in this sort of mechanical way because there's no longer a will there to fuck things up.
Right. But even then, she still had all the memories that were then passed on to Faputa of, you all did this to me. I hate this. And it's not just that Faputa wants vengeance. Faputa wants to relieve Irumyui of that suffering. Destroying the village is a not just a burning of their wishes, but it's also a mercy, to Irumyui or whatever is left of Irumyui.
I mean, whether it's a mercy because of something of, a mercy to the present Irumyui or the last wish of
Sure,
Irumyui.
yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a differentiation there because then are you talking about the I'm going to free you so that you no longer have to suffer, or you did suffer a shit ton and that's all done now, but I'm not going to forgive or forget that.
So then why would that make her want to destroy the village then?
Wait, why wouldn't that want to make her destroy the village?
But no, just tell me as to why that would make it want to destroy it, because it just helped me out here.
Revenge.
Revenge on herself?
On the people who did this.
Right. So the village wouldn't necessarily be destroyed. It would just be break a hole into the village.
Yeah, and kill all the people.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my point, is that destroying the village has a little bit of a all-encompassing vagueness to it, in that what makes up the village? The buildings? No, it's the people,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Right. So she's not necessarily wanting to destroy literally every ounce of the organism itself.
Break every piece of
that's why I'm saying that
furniture
there's
or
two.
whatever.
That's why I'm saying there's two interpretations here, which is
Okay.
killing all the people in the village as vengeance versus destroying whatever remains of Irumyui. So I think it's more the, it's more. I guess I'm now confusing myself a little bit, but just like those are two separate things, right?
Sure.
If Irumyui actively is still remembering just all the pain of what happened to her, I would assume on some level there's a desire to mercy kill Irumyui.
Right, but I feel like it was established in the episode that that's kind of done. Like Irumyui is not there anymore. Like the physical, the carcass or vegetative body or whatever is there, but
yeah, I feel like that's an interpretation. I totally get it.
I mean,
But
I guess
there's nothing in the episode from what I remember of, Irumyui is dead.
I mean, I guess Veco was still able to be in touch with Irumyui's feelings in some way through the connection with the
It's the same
children
thing with,
or whatever.
It's the same thing with Mitty, Like, Mitty had a connection with Rico that was primarily like a signal, a dream, a little bit of a thing there. But Mitty was alive, but definitely not in a state that anyone would. That's why I wanted to draw the connection there, is that they literally made Irumyui turn into a gigantic pink mass that had very little.
No, the similarities are definitely there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we get
yeah.
to the next episodes to see what direction the show wants to take it. But
Yeah. Here we go. There it is. Value beyond imagination keeps Irumyui alive. Yeah. Irumyui is alive because of all the people in here. Because of all this activity. And because there's more people that come here,
Oh yeah, free her mother. She's going to destroy
this
the
village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so at the very least she wants vengeance, yes. Absolutely. But then, yes, what does freeing her mother look like? And
Okay.
I do like this whole thing here of the, what would you do if a old lady stranger came up and said,
Well, obviously I wouldn't. Yeah.
Right, but the idea that what Veco wants then is, I just don't want to forget her. Veco, I'd say, has no problem then with the village being destroyed.
Oh no, and I mean, let's be real. The fact that she didn't actually go through with her plan to kill Irumyui and then herself back then.
Right.
Yes, it could be because Irumyui reached out to her and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it could also be because it's like, hey, I've got a little knife. How the fuck would I do that when she's this big? So.
Yeah, she can't do it anymore, of course.
Right, exactly.
But she never left the spot. because she was punishing herself and because she'd grown
Okay, yeah, and
accustomed and connected to the children.
So then, since Irumyui is still alive, still has feelings and all that stuff, that means we could get a three-pronged character resolution.
Yeah.
Of all of them together.
Yeah.
Not just not just each of them as individuals and how they, resolve their feelings about the situation.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But beautiful episode.
Yes.
Great setup and also resolution. The backstory is basically done. Like, there doesn't seem to be anything more really that we need to resolve backstory-wise.
The only thing I could potentially see is the details of how Belloff changed after that,
Yeah, a little bit of life in the village.
Right.
Like
that
could be interesting, yeah. And that probably will come back a little bit later, I would say, but it will probably not be in this kind of context. It'll be
exactly. They can just drip feed it when it's
means
relevant and
stuff.
Do quick, 2-minute bits or something like that. Yeah.
But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.